Good morning, students. Today, let me start another new lesson titled "An Astrologer's Day." It's been written by R.K. Narayan. So, an astrologer's day. This is it's a very interesting lesson which has been written by one of the famous Indian writer by name R.K. Narayan. And R.K. Narayan, he has introduced Indian literature to the foreign countries. That is the law. R.K. Narayan's contribution is he it is because of his struggle, because of his contribution, the Indian literature reached to the foreign countries also. That is, even in the English countries, people started loving the works from the Indian writers, and this credit goes to R.K. Narayan. And R.K. Narayan, when we talk about a little bit about his life history. He was born in October 10th, 1906 and lived till 13th May 2011. And his full name is Rasipuram Krishnaswamy Iyer Narayana Swamy. And moreover, he has written many series of books. And in that, especially, he has written his one of the famous book or the novel Malgudi Days. You all know it has been picturized in the form of a serial, and this Malgudi Days is being written by this R.K. Narayan. And moreover, generally when we look into the contributions of R.K. Narayan, he has always written the novels or the stories by witnessing the day-to-day life of the common people. So his credit, he has contributed towards the literature, the English literature, especially to the day-to-day life, day-to-day happenings, what are we experience in our life, the common people's life, that is being given a lot of importance in his writings. And he has been awarded the highest, second highest civilian award like Padma Vibhushan Award, and even he has been given a medal like A.C. Benson Medal from the Royal Society of Literature. So this is little bit about the and even he has been given the Academy Awards also. So this is bit about R.K. Narayan. Now this astrologer's day, we will see what is the story about. Okay, here we can open up page number 163. So some warm-up activities been given, like stars repel, they do not compel, and man is the maker of his own destiny. You all know these are the famous sayings by the famous personalities. Like the stars, they shine, but they never complain. And even man is the maker of his own destiny. We human beings, we are the makers of our own destiny. And moreover, it is in our hands that how we divert, how we create, how we make our destiny, our future, our life, or our future life. This is in our hand itself. So these are the popular sayings over there. And you all know that in our life we see changes. Sometimes you know that we observe the changes, we see the changes which are sometimes good, which are sometimes bad. The changes sometimes bring the positive things in our life, sometimes they have negative impact on our life. But even then, you know that each and every one of us we experience changes in our life. And not only that, and moreover, along with the positive and the negative thoughts, along with the good and the bad, even we have many surprising things, surprising changes in our life. So this astrologer's day also it is something like the combination of the negative and the positive thoughts, the good and the bad thoughts, and some of the magical changes that is being experienced by an astrologer. So let me begin with the lesson here. Okay, now I'll begin the lesson there. Punctually at midday, he opened his bag and spread out his professional equipment, which consisted of a dozen cowrie shells, a square piece of cloth with obscure mystic charts on it, a notebook, and a bundle of Pamela writing. So exactly at midday. Midday means you know it is 12 o'clock. Okay. So 12 o'clock, this man, he came, he opened his bag, and what all things were there in his bag? Professional equipment here in the sense means some sort of things were carried in his bag, and those things he opened it. And in that bag, it consisted of dozen cowrie shells. Cowrie shells were generally the astrologers. You might have seen the white color shells they'll be having. That what they do, they'll will try to put it like dice, and based on that, they'll predict the astrologers will predict about the stars, and they tell about the futures then. So here, dozen cowrie a square piece of cloth, a kind of a cloth was there, and with obscure mystic charts on it. In that cloth, some difficult, it was a difficult type of language was written on that chart, and a notebook. He was having a notebook and a bundle of Pamira writing. Pamira writing in the sense, Pamira, it is a kind of writing. In those days, it was very common, the Rishimonis and all, the kings, the Rishimonis, the writers, the scholars, poets, and all, they used to write on that instinct to the prophetic light and felt comforted. So, here, when you look into the astrologer's appearance, how he, when you talk about different religions in our country or different communities, you know that one or the other kind of sacred ash or a white color like ash, they'll apply on that. We so by seeing his appearance, okay, in such a people were attracted to him as bees are attracted to cosmos or the earlier stars. The appearance of this astrologer, by looking into his appearance, people this astrologer, by looking into his appearance, people they were attracted very much to Town Hall Park. So where he used to sit is he used to sit in one of the tamarind tree in the near the town hall place, and moreover it was a remarkable place in many ways. A surgical crowd was always moving up and down this narrow road morning till night. So why he chose that place is because it was a very remarkable place where the crowd, that is people, were moving up and down the whole day. Means what it is, he chose that place because it was full busy with the crowd, with the people. And moreover, a variety of trades and occupations was represented all along its way. So here, not only that, another reason that why he chose that tamarind tree or why he chose that place near the town hall is because there many other professionals, many other people doing different trades, different activities were found over there, like especially the medicine sellers were there. That is, medical shops were there, sellers of stolen hardware and junk. So people found with and junk magicians, the magicians will be there. So such a magicians were there in that street, and not only that, some the one who used to steal the things here and there. That is the stolen hardware in the sense here the metal things. Some of the people they the stolen goods they used to sell over there, like in our day-to-day language we call them as the kabadis. The same way here, and above all, an auctioneer of cheap cloth. So here, a person who used to sell the cloth in a very cheap rate. Auctioneer in the sense in lump sum, in wholesale they used to sell. So these are different people following different occupations were found in that particular area where this astrologer used to sit. And not only that, who created enough data to attract the customers over there. Next to him in Ocepelas's came a vendor of fried groundnut who gave his wear a fancy name each day, calling it Bombay ice cream one day, and on the next day Delhi almond, and on the third day Raja's delicacy, and so on and so forth. People flocked to him. So next to this cheap cloth seller, another person was there, and he was the seller of the groundnut. He was selling the groundnut, and daily, with one or the other name, he used to call them. He used to represent his business with different titles. Like one day he used to call it as Raja's Delicacy, one day he used to call it as Bombay Ice Cream, and one day he used to call it as Delhi Almond. With different titles in this business, and moreover, a considerable portion of this crowd daily before the astrologer too. And some of the customers who used to visit these all different persons, that is medical stores, junk trade seller, then the stolen junk trade sellers, then this cloth seller, then the groundnut seller. Along with all these people, this man, that is astrologer, also wanted to be one among them. So he went and sat in between these business people. And moreover, the astrologer transacted his business by the light of a flame which crackled and smoked up the groundnut he nearby. So this astrologer, how he used to do his business is he undertook his business with not with his own light. He didn't have any kind of light of his own, but with the lights that were lit up by different shops which were nearby of the flare, and with that he used to do his business. Not only that, half the enchantment of the place was due to the fact that he did not have the benefit of municipal lighting. Why this astrologer had to depend upon the groundnut seller is because half of the portion of that area it didn't have the municipal lighting. The common lighting system was not there during that time, and the place was lit up by the shop lights. So that particular place where astrologer and other sellers were used to sit, it was lightened, it was lit up with the lights that were burnt or that were used by the different shopkeepers. And one or two had hissing gas lights, some had a naked face stuck on poles, some were lit up by old cycle lamps, and one or two, like the astrologers, managed without lights of their own. So some of the people they had hissing gas lights. Hissing gas lights you might have seen in those days when the marriages were there. In that red color lamp they used to carry on their shoulders. So that we call it as hissing gas lights. Nowadays we don't use it. Those hissing gas lights were there, and some of them they had open flames, like in villages and all they use. They'll have a bottle, they will put some thread in that, and they will put some kerosene oil, and that flame they used to burn with that flame. And some of them they had old cycle lamps, and especially this astrologer, some of the people like astrologer, they depended upon the lights of other people. So this is how the astrologer conducted his business, and it was a bewildering crisscross of light rays and moving shadows. This suited the astrologer very well for the simple reason that he had not in the least intended to be an astrologer when he began life, and he knew no more of what was going to happen to others than he knew what was going to happen to himself next to him. So, and those lights were not actually bright. It was, the lights were moving crisscross, sometimes this way, sometimes that way. And moreover, the astrologer was very happy with this situation because he didn't want the people to identify him. And moreover, he was hiding himself from his appearance towards the people, because there is a reason that why he was hiding himself, why he didn't want to show his face to the people there. And in this context, what happens is here, he doesn't want to disclose in front of the people that he is an astrologer. People should not see his face. So he always hid his face at he never came to the light of his face. He didn't face towards the light. It was lit by the shopkeepers over there. And moreover, why he was doing that is because he was not knowing at this moment what will happen in the next minute, what will happen then. And because he was not a complete astrologer, he didn't have any knowledge of the stars, nor about any cosmic bodies, nor he was not a perfect astrologer also. And so for that reason, he didn't want his face to be shown to the people there. And he was as much a stranger to the stars as were his innocent customers. So he was not knowing anything about the stars. He was very much innocent towards the stars, like how the innocent customers used to come to him all the time. So, yet he said things which pleased and astonished everyone. That was more a matter of study, practice, and shrewd guesswork. So how he used to predict? Okay, you all astrologers generally what they do? They predict about the future. They predict by seeing our hands, by seeing our palm. What they do? They will predict about our future. Here also, the astrologer. What even then, the customers were very much attracted towards the astrologer. And what all he used to say that it is near, it is not a perfect study. He didn't have achieve any degree or any qualification in astrology. But even then, it is the practice that made him a very perfect astrologer there. And not only that, it was his shrewd, very intelligent guesswork that he used to, by seeing the face of their customers, he used to predict certain things which are very common in our life. And this, in this way, the people were attracted towards him. All the time, all the same, it was as much as an honest man's labor as any other, and he deserved the wages he carried home at the end of the day. Quite naturally, as much as quite when the people come, when the people go to astrologer, quite naturally they'll give something. He used to charge the rupees for them. He used to charge the money for them, and that money he used to carry as wages for his house. Then he had left his village without any previous thought or plan. If he had continued there, he would have carried on the work of his forefathers, namely tilling the land, living, marrying, and ripening his cornfield and ancestral home. So why he had left his village without any proper planning. One day suddenly he left his village because he is thinking that suppose if he had lived in his village, he could have worked as a labor, as a agricultural labor in the field as a tiller, or he would have got married over there and he would have lived with the children in the same village, or he would have continued the work of his forefathers, that is his grandparents, his great grandparents. So these are the things if he had lived in his village, he could have done all these things. But he had left the village without any proper planning. Suddenly he left the village and came and settled in the city. But that was not to be. He had to leave home without telling anyone and he could not rest till he left it. We had a couple of 100 miles to a village of it is a great big as if ocean road between. So, but this was not the thing. This astrologer, he had left his home without informing anyone, without telling anyone. Suddenly he left his home and this was something like when he left the home, quite naturally what happened is he came and settled in the city, 100 miles he has left his village back and came and settled in a village, sorry, in a city. This was something like an unbelievable thing for the astrologer because an incident has taken place that I'll tell you later on. He had a working analysis of mankind's struggles, marriage, money, and the tangles of humanity. So this astrologer, okay, I told you that he was not a graduate, he was not a professional astrologer. He didn't have any qualifications. Rather, he's not having any knowledge about the stars, about the cosmic bodies. But even then, he was a perfect astrologer because he, due to his intelligence, due to his shrewdness, what he has done is he used to manage the people. A very common thing is, you all know, generally human beings, we have common problems, like the problems related to marriage, like the problems related to money, and sometimes the problems related to different relations or other problems. So these were common things that the people used to come to the astrologer. This he had studied thoroughly when the customers came to him. And another thing what he did is he charged 3 paise per question, never opened his mouth till the other had spoken for at least 10 minutes, which provided him enough stuff for a dozen answers and advices. So this astrologer, how he used to deal with the people is he used to charge 3 paise per question. And till the customer, he opens his mouth, he explains what all problems he is facing. This astrologer never opened his mouth for at least 10 minutes. And when the customers, when the people with the problem, when they tell all their problems in front of the astrologer, then astrologer got sufficient information from the people themselves, and in return that information, he pastes that information, he put some bread and butter for that. Okay, that what he does, he used to predict false prediction of that, and he used to give the same information for the people. In this way, this astrologer was carrying on his business. Because now when we go to, for example, you might have seen how the astrologers they fool the people. They never predict because they don't have any idea regarding us what problems we are facing. Because now, for example, if I am facing any problem, until and unless I tell in front of somebody, the person who is there, who is to whom I am talking, until and unless I say anything, that person will not be knowing what problem I am facing. The same way here also, the astrologer, he never used to open the mouth for at least the first 10 minutes. The customers who used to come to him, they used to explain everything. Then obviously he got a lot of information from the people itself. So based on that, some solution he used to give. This is what was the shrewd nature of an astrologer. So for this only he used to charge 3 paise per question. And when he told the person before him, gazing at his palm, in many ways you are not getting the results for your efforts. 9 out of 10 were disposed to agree with him. So just he used to look into the eyes of the persons. Okay, when the person, when the customers, they told about their problems and all, then the astrologer he used to see in the eyes of the people, and he used to look into the palm of the people, then he used to look into the hand of the people, and seeing that palm, he used to say that in many ways you are not getting the results of your efforts. So here, in many ways you are not getting your results. What work you are doing, you are not getting satisfactory in that. Now already he has got a lot of information from the people only. And what he used to say, out of 10 people, 9 people used to agree for the advice given by the astrologer. But they were not, the customers were so foolish, they were so innocent that all the information already they have provided to the astrologer. So based on that information, the astrologer what is doing is advising them in return. So this common people, this innocent people, they didn't understand this. But out of 10 people, 9 people used to agree with the advice of the astrologer, and not only that, and another one more thing is, 9 out of 10 were disposed to agree with him, or he questioned, is there any woman in your family, maybe even a distant relative who is not well disposed towards you? Or he gave an analysis of character, most of your troubles are due to your nature and rough exterior. So by hearing all the troubles from the people, all the worries from the people, then they used to ask some questions that, is there any woman in your family, even maybe even a distant relative who is not well disposed towards you? So he used to ask some questions, related questions, like is there any woman in your family who doesn't like your family over there? It may be a far relative or what. Then he used to, and moreover, he used to analyze that character, what kind of that lady is, and based on that, what he used to do is, he used to tell the people, most of your troubles are due to your nature and not exterior. So, astrologer in return, he used to tell that all these troubles and problems you people are facing is because of your rough nature, a very rude nature that you people are following it towards the other people there. So, this is what the advice he used to give. And this endeared him to their hearts immediately. For even the mildest of us loves to think that he has a forwarding exterior. So this answer what he used to give was very much aligned by the people there. And the nuts kind of blew out his fair and goes to go home. This was a sin for astrologer to Mandala too, since it left him in darkness except for a little shaft of green light which strayed in from somewhere and touched the ground before him. So now the relax vendor, that is, I told you the groundnut vendor, he blew out his flame, he put up his light, and he was ready to go home. Now it was evening by the time now, and even when the natamender blew out his plane, it was a signal for the astrologer also to go his, to bundle up or to pack up his things and go home. And then he picked up his provisions and paraphernalia and was putting them back into his bag, and then when the green shaft of light blotted out, he looked up and saw a man standing before him. So suddenly now he was ready to go home. He packed his all provisions and took all his belongings, paraphernalia means belongings, and he was putting in his bag, and suddenly what happened is a man came and stood in front of him. And he sensed the possible flight and said, "You look so careful. It will do you good to sit down for a while and chat with me." Now, what happened suddenly when he looked over there, the person who stood in front of an astrologer, the astrologer asked him, "I think that you are having some worries in your mind. Would you like to sit with me and chat with me?" He says. Then it will do you good to, sorry. The other grumbled some reply vaguely. The astrologer pressed his invitation, whereupon the other thrust his palm under his nose, saying, "You call yourself an astrologer?" Now, okay, the man he sat over there, and with less interest what he was doing is he was trying to he had a doubt in his mind that whether he was an astrologer, he was a good astrologer, he was a perfect astrologer or what. So for that reason, the man who sat over there, he asked him, "Do you call yourself as an astrologer?" The astrologer felt challenged and said, tilting the other's palm towards the green shaft of light, "Eagles is a nature." "Oh, stop that," the other said. "Tell me something worthwhile." Now these two persons, okay, not only one, two persons were there. So one was ready to sit and ask the astrologer's teacher. Another was not ready to show his palm, and rather he was questioning the astrologer whether he was a good astrologer or what. He had and in this context, what happens? The other person, the other man, he says, "Okay, let it be. Sit and just show your palm, or we'll discuss something." He says. Then our friend felt picked. "I charge only 3 paise per question, and what do you get ought to be good enough for your money." So here both the persons what they did is telling one of them, the person is telling that he is talking, the astrologer is talking, he is telling that I charge 3 paise per question, and at this the other withdrew his arm, took out an anna and flung it out to him, saying, "I have some questions to ask. If I prove you are bluffing, you must return the anna to me with interest." So one person was ready to give myself 3 paisa per question. But the other one, he angrily what he did is he threw an anna in front of that astrologer, and he said that, "Okay, I'll give this anna to you. But if I find that you are laughing, you are telling all the wrong things, you are telling all the false things which are not correct, which are not related to my life, then I'll take back the anna and again I'll charge you the extra amount," he says. Now we'll see. "If you find my answer satisfactory, will you give me 5 rupees?" Now, in return, astrologer is asking, "Okay, if I tell you the right answers, if I give you good answers, then are you ready to give 5 rupees for me?" Then the person says, "No." "Or will you give me 8 annas?" That person says, "No, I'm not going to give 5 rupees for you." But astrologer asks him, "Will you give me 8 annas?" "Okay, not five rupees, at least 8 annas can I give?" "Alright, provided you give me twice as much if you are wrong," said the stranger. So the stranger says, "Okay, I'll give you 8 annas. Suppose if I find you wrong, the answers that you are giving me are wrong, and if I'm not satisfied with your advice, then are you ready to pay the double of that?" Then this pact was accepted after a little further argument. The astrologer sent up a prayer to heaven as the other lectured. Now this pact, this agreement was signed between the stranger and the astrologer. Okay, astrologer also agreed and the stranger also agreed. And now further this again their argument was continued. The astrologer sent up a prayer to heaven. Okay, he prayed to God, and The astrologer caught a glimpse of his face by the natural light. There was a pause as cars moved on the road. Jitcar drivers swore at their horses, and the babble of the crowd agitated the steady darkness of the park. Now suddenly what happened? He could see, this astrologer could see that stranger. He could see the face of that stranger. And suddenly what happened? There was a crowd over there. A car which was moving suddenly stopped over there. Jetka drivers were revving their horses and the crowd agitated the steady darkness of the park. And moreover, the other sat down, sucking his cherry, coughing out, and sat there breathlessly. So the other person who had come with the stranger, he sat over there, he was drinking that hookah, cherry is like a cigar it was. And the astrologer felt very uncomfortable. Now, by seeing the face of that stranger, astrologer felt very uncomfortable. Here, take your honor back. I am not used to such challenges. It is there for me today. He made preparations to Bandha. So suddenly, when this astrologer looks into the face of a stranger, he got afraid. Now he says, "Okay, you take back your honor. Now it is late. It is already dark. I want to go home." He says, and he made preparations to Bandha. The other held his wrist and said, "You can't get out of it now. You dragged me while I was passing." Now that other person what he says, "No, no, you can't go like that." He pull his hand and he says, "No, no, you cannot escape from us." So you have challenged me. I was passing on the road, you already challenged me. So you accept this challenge and tell me the answers, he says. So in this way, astrologer was forced to sit over there. And the astrologer shivered in his grave and his voice shook and became faint. Now astrologer was shivering. He was afraid. And not only that, he says, "Leave me today, I'll speak to you tomorrow." The other thrust his palm in his face and said, "Challenge is challenge, go on." So both of them, now the astrologer was requesting the stranger and the person to leave him. Today he is requesting them to leave today and tomorrow he will come and answer for that. But both the persons wanted him, they pulled him from the 18%, and they said the challenge is a challenge, you have to accept it. The astrologer proceeded with his throat and lying up there is a woman. Now the astrologer started saying, he's telling that, when he said woman, he says, "Stop," said the other. "I don't want all that. Shall I succeed in my present search or not? Answer this and do." So the other person said, "Okay, stop that all talking about the woman there. I'll ask you some questions, you answer for that." He says, "And otherwise I will not let you go till you disgorge all your points." So here, the stranger is telling that, "Okay, till you answer my questions, I'm not going to give back your points over there," he says. Then, "Alright." The astrologer muttered a few incantations and replied, "Alright, I'll speak. But will you give me a rupee if what I say is convincing? Otherwise, I will not open my mouth and you may do what you like." So astrologer also puts a challenge. He says that, "Okay, I'll set an answer. But the thing is, you have to give me one rupee for what all I ask, what all I answer for you." And moreover, even after a good deal of haggling, the other agreed. The astrologer said, "You were left for dead, am I right?" Now both of them they agreed. Now he starts. The astrologer is telling that you were left for dead. He is asking that stranger some days earlier, that is in the past, you were left dead. That is, somebody had attacked you. You were about to die. Is it right or not? Tell me more. Now that stranger is asking, "Yes, yes, tell me more," he says. "A knife has passed through you once," said the astrologer. Astrologer is telling that person, "A knife had just passed through you. Somebody tried to kill you with the knife," he asked. "Good fellow, your God is just to show the scar. What else?" Now that fellow to whom this astrologer was talking, he opened his shirt and showed the scars which were made by the knife on his body. Then we were pushed into a well nearby in the field. You were left for dead. Further, the astrologer says, you were pushed in the nearby well, and they were good fellow. He got his chest, sorry, and then we were pushed into a nearby in the field. We were later for it. So astrologer is telling that somebody attacked you with a knife. They tried to kill you, and after that they threw you in the well which was near the field. Then I should have been dead if some passerby had not chanced to keep into the well, exclaimed the other. So the other person he says, yes, I should have died if the passerbys, the people passing on the road, if the passerbys had not seen in the well, not peeped in the well and rescued me from the well there, I would have died. And when shall I get at him? So now the stranger is asking, when shall I get that person who has attacked me? He asked, clenching his fist. Now, clenching his fist, he was doing like this, that sound he was doing. And means he was in an angry mood. In the next world, answered the astrologer. He died 4 months ago in a far town. You will never see any more of him. The other grown on hearing it. The astrologer considered. So astrologer is telling that in this world you are not going to find him. You will find him in the next world. Means he is telling, astrologer is telling, already that person who has attacked you, he has died. 4 months ago only he has died. And not only that, you are not going to see him anymore. The other person, he got very angry and the astrologer continued, Guru Nayak, you know my name? The other said, take aback. The other person who was sitting there, his name was Guru Nayak. So astrologer called him as Guru Nayak. And that person was astonished, he was surprised that how do you know my name? He asked. Then, as I know all other things, Guru Nayak, listen carefully to what I have to say. Now astrologer is talking to Guru Nayak. He's telling Guru Nayak to listen to me. What I say, just do it. Your village is 2 days journey due north of this town. So he's telling your village is very far away. Here about 2 days it will take. Then take an instant train and be gone. I see once again great danger to your life. If you go from home, he took out a pinch of sacred ash and held it to him. Rub it on your forehead and go home. Never travel southward again and you will live to be 100. So he advises that person who was attacked by attacked in his village with a knife. So he says, Gurunaya, you don't travel towards the south. Immediately on that day, you take a train, you go back to your village and never come back to southward. Suppose if you come back to southward again, if you travel back, you have danger for your life once again. So don't travel towards the southward, you go back to your village and he uses some sacred ash and he puts on his forehead, and not only that, he gives a packet of that sacred ash and advises him to put it daily on his forehead. And moreover, if you do this, you will live for 100 years, he advises. So this was the advice that was given by the astrologer to the stranger or to Guru Nayak. Now, why should I not leave home again? The other said reflectively. So the other person who was sitting with that Gurnayak, he asked me why I should not leave home once again. I was only going away now, and then to look for him and to choke out his life, I met him. So the person wanted that why I should go back home, why I should go back to my village once again. I had come over here to find out that person who was attacking me. I wanted to cut off his head, I wanted to kill him. And moreover, he shook his head regretfully. He has escaped my hands. I hope at least he died as a yes, said the astrologer. He was crushed under a lorry. The other looked gratified to hear it. So here, now the astrologer is telling that yes, as you hope, okay, as he has deserved, like he has been crushed under a lorry and he is no more. So don't think of the lorry and he is no more. So don't think about the person who take revenge on him. And not only that, he even says the so the other person who was there, he looked with thankfulness, with gratitude, and the place was deserted by the time the astrologer picked up these articles and put them into his bag. Now the place, all the people had gone over there, nobody was there, only this astrologer was there. He took up all his articles and put them in his bag. The green shaft was also gone, leaving the place in darkness and silence. Now the green light which was there lit up, that also had gone, and now it was dark and silence was there, and the stranger had gone off into the night after giving the astrologer a handful of coins. So the stranger gave lot of money to the astrologer. It was nearly midnight when the astrologer reached home. So at midnight, near about 12 o'clock night, he reached home and his wife was waiting for him at the door and demanded an explanation. He flung the coins at her and said, "Come then, one man gave all that." So now his wife asked him that why he was so late. Then he gave all the coins in her hand, and asked her to count those coins. And he says, only one man had given all these coins, he says. 12 and a half annas. So she counted and it was 12 and a half annas. She was overjoyed. She was very happy by seeing this lot of money over there. I can buy some jewelry for her tomorrow. The child has been asking for sweets for so many days now. I'll prepare some nice stuff for her. So now she says I can buy jaggery tomorrow and coconut. So jaggery and coconut she wanted to buy, and she wanted to prepare some sweets for her child because her child since so many days she was asking sweets to be prepared. So as they had a lot of money with them, so now she wanted to prepare it. The swine has cheated me, he promised me a rupee, said the astrologer. She looked at him, you look worried, what is wrong? Now this astrologer is telling that person, the stranger has cheated me. He promised that he would give 1 rupee for me, but he has given less amount for me. And not only that, when the astrologer's wife looked into his face, she is asking, what is wrong with him? Then nothing he says. After dinner, sitting on the pile, he told her, do you know a great road is gone from me today? Now, after dinner, after having their food in the night, what happened is they were sitting on the pile. Pile, you all know, generally we find it in the villages. Like, it is made with a jute thread. Okay? Four wooden sticks will be there with that. The jute thread will be tied over there. Like just board will be there. Okay? So that pile they were sitting and he's telling his wife that a great big great load has been relieved from me, he says. I thought I had the blood of a man on my hands all these years. So the astrologer is telling that all these days I thought that I am not killer, I am a murderer, I had killed somebody there, but that was the reason why I ran away from home, settled here and married you. He is alive. And he is telling that as I have murdered a person in my village long back, and due to that murder, I have left my village and came here and I got married you. But today I came to know that the Lord has been revealed that the person whom I tried to kill is alive. Means I'm revealed that I am not a murderer, I didn't kill anyone, he says. She gasped, you tried to kill that woman, that wife. She was thinking herself that you tried to kill a woman then. Yes, in our village when I was a silly youngster, we tried to gather and quarrel badly one day. Why think of it now? Time to sleep, he said, yawning and stretching himself on the fire. Now, he says, yes, once when I was a young boy, when I was an youngster, with my friends, we gambled and we quarreled with each other badly, and in that quarrel, what happened suddenly, I tried to kill a person, and but now I am satisfied that that person is alive. So on that day or night, he had a good sleep. So this is the lesson. Thank you, children.